everyone. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. And today I'm thrilled to invite Gandharvi for this particular podcast. Gandharvi is an accomplished HR executive and strategic people partner. She worked as Director HR Business Partner at Crocs India. She also led people functions at Expedia Group and OLX Group. Beyond her corporate roles, Gandharvi is also a clarity and transition coach and co founder of GaVira, where she supports individuals and teams in navigating career transitions with purpose and clarity. So, get ready for this particular conversation because you're going to learn a lot from this conversation. Thank you, Gandharvi, and welcome to my channel.
Thank you so much for having me on your channel, and I'm really excited for the conversation we're going to have.
Sure. And we'll be doing this in two parts. In the first part, we'll try to understand how HR as a career is. And in the second part, we'll try to understand how to find jobs because this is one thing a lot of people are confused. So,
Absolutely.
okay. So, my first question is, can you briefly walk us through your career journey in HR?
Sure. So I've actually spent over 2 decades, or as they say, 23 years in HR. I've worked across industries and geographies. I worked across India, LATAM, US, APAC, Europe, lived in Brazil and Germany as well as part of my stint. I started as a trainer and moved into consulting and then business partnering. I have loved the roles that I've played in talent over the 23 years that I've been in this role. And over time, I've taken on leadership roles across talent management, performance, org design, and strategic HR. I think what shaped me most is working closely with the business, seeing how people decisions really directly impact results. So today I work at that intersection as well in GaVira, where we work with women leaders in making decisions and helping them navigate with clarity.
And what initially attracted to HR?
I think it just happened to me like it does to a lot of people. But as I spent more time in HR, it appealed to me because it sits at that cross section of people and business. So you can influence outcomes without always being in the spotlight. Early on, I realized that HR just wasn't about being supportive. It was about also having the courage to make hard calls, holding that line, holding the boundary, and thinking long term. So, big picture thinking. And that balance actually still defines what I do today.
And tell me more about GaVira.
So, GaVira is a company I co-founded very recently, and I work with women, especially working women, leaders, professionals who are navigating any sort of change in personal or professional lives. So, most women we come across are capable, they're experienced, they're successful on paper, but somewhere they feel stuck around their decisions. They feel that this is not what they want, or why have I been doing so much work and I'm not getting the best benefit out of it for me. So my focus is on building that clarity, decision, and navigating those skills so people can move forward without panic or second guessing or blowing their lives out, and do it more seamlessly and smoothly.
Tell me one more thing. I had asked this question earlier also. Why only women?
So I think women play a lot of hats, and they are the ones who manage home, they are the ones who manage family, they are the ones who manage work. And most women end up multitasking, juggling all these domains really well. Now, what really happens is in all of this, you tend to lose something about yourself when you're in that rat race or when you're in that race to make everyone happy. And that's why I decided as a woman, I have gone through an experience where I have managed work, led teams, led roles, done big, big projects, and been super successful. But somewhere I felt, is this really what I'm meant to do? Is this really what makes me happy? I'm getting a salary, great. But at the end of the day, as a woman, I feel I've also been the only woman in the boardroom. And there are so many women who go through this journey. And there is no space that really exists. So it's always around trauma or healing or therapy. But nothing really pinpoints to some of these key problems that we face daily. decision making, navigating through things day in and day out, finding what makes us happy and not and ensuring not everyone gets upset about it. So that's why I decided let's start with women. I'm a woman. I've been through the journey, and I know there are so many women out there who go through this daily, whether you have a family to take care of or not, whether you have work to take care of or not, or whether you have everything to do, or you've decided you want to do something different but don't know how to do it. And you're afraid of doing it because it may make someone unhappy. So that's why I said, let's focus on women. As a woman, I will relate more to it. And I think we will include others in the journey as we grow. But our goal is that every year we want to work with 1,000 women and help them go through the journey faster instead of waiting years like I did.
And I hope after this podcast, even men would like to take guidance from you.
They
So I hope you
absolutely
are
can.
open.
So they can absolutely do it. I think we'll always want to give priority to women, but I'm more than happy to work with men if they are really looking for that kind of support.
Now tell me about HR roles. What are the various domains where you can work in HR?
There are many to start off with. I think I'll talk about the key ones, the key HR domains that exist today. So you have talent acquisition, you have HR business partnering, you have learning and development, you have rewards and compensation, so your benefits and compensation, payroll and compliance, which is super critical, employee relations, talent and performance management, organizational design, and then last but not the least is HR operations and HR tech. So what's important to understand is that HR isn't just one job. It's like an ecosystem of roles that require different strengths that different people bring.
Okay, and which of these HR roles are most in demand and why?
I think as time has gone by, and just based on my experience, so I could be wrong, I could be right, but my experience over the last 10 years in this space and how things have changed is business partnering is one. Talent management is one because talent management today talks a lot about talent acquisition, talent retention, talent attraction, and also being able to recognize the talent. And then there's HR analytics. So these are three key job roles or domains that are in high demand, and there's a reason for it. Organizations don't only want HR who can connect with people and do events. They are looking for people and professionals who can also connect data to the business decisions, influence leaders, and manage ambiguity. So, not just execution, but strategy. And all these three roles play into that strategic lever that organizations are looking for.
And what are the skills which are non-negotiable in HR?
So I think the non-negotiable skills, in my view, again, I could be wrong, but just based on my experience, one that stands out to me is judgment. So knowing what truly matters as an HR professional. The second is clear communication. So when I say clear communication, it means being able to speak your mind crisply with enough data, but also in tough conversations, being able to have that clear conversation. And then the key one that I've always pushed on is business understanding. So HR decisions honestly don't exist in isolation. We exist because the business exists.
Right.
And so for any HR professional, whether you're a business partner or not, whether you're in talent acquisition or not, or HR ops or not, you need to understand how the business operates and speak the language of the business. And so these are also the skills that I work with and strengthen through GaVira every single day, because it's important as an HR professional to be able to draw the line, stand for what truly matters, and also speak the language of the business.
And how degrees, certifications play a role in joining as HR in any company?
So, this is going to be a little controversial when I say it, because I think a little differently as far as this is concerned. I think degrees, educational qualifications are super important. Degrees, however, help you enter HR.
Right.
The real world skills that you gain through experience actually determines how far you grow. So over time, credibility comes from handling real situations, conflicts, decisions, leadership discussions, and not just a certification alone. So it's an entry point, but it's not the be all and end all of how your career will shape up.
And how would you suggest any fresher or any professional who want to switch to HR, what should they do?
So, I always believe in experience more than maybe education a lot of times. I actually believe exposure is super important, and it's okay to start with the most junior level role and then grow in that space. So, internships are a great idea. Or picking up an operational role is a very good idea in HR if you are looking to switch or enter without prior experience, because that is where your knowledge base will start building context, how you approach conversations. So, some roles that come to mind could be HR operations roles, recruitment coordination, or learning and development support roles. If you are looking to get into things around systems, then get into a role which allows you. So let's say you do a certification around systems, you start with a junior level role in HR systems or labor law or basic analytics. In human resources, I've always said it that HR always rewards curiosity and learning by doing far more than a perfect resume. So if you know there is an internship, go for it. If you know there is an assignment you can partner with someone on, even externally, do it. If you know there's a survey you can start working on, do it. Because that curiosity will fuel your experience more than just a resume.
And how growth looks like after 5, 10 years. And I'm talking about both growth in terms of your position as well as salary, because a lot of youngsters want to know that what would be the initial salary and maximum what they can reach up to in HR.
See, salaries are a very tricky topic because every company has a different benchmarking. Every company has a different band that they use for HR and other functions. So I would say don't worry about the salary so much because your salary will come as you grow. I think the way I expect growth in HR is your early years, in your initial first few years, is about breadth. How much breadth do you have across? So, whether it's a generalist role or it's in learning and development, but how much breadth can you attain by doing different roles, maybe in the same company or maybe in different organizations to build that breadth across the board? Then comes the mid career piece, which is your 10-year to 15-year mark, right? In that mark, you actually start building depth. So, specialization is a very good approach at that point of time. So, you come with a generalist background, maybe, or you come with a background where you worked in different functions within HR, but then you decide to specialize in one. So, you build your niche, or you get into business partnering. Now, all of this helps you from a long term career perspective because when you start getting that to that 10, 15, 20-year mark, then you get into the senior roles, and senior roles actually demand a lot of strategic thinking, influence, and emotional maturity. Now, how that really works is or helps is because you've seen both sides of the world. You've seen the generalist role and you've seen the specialist role. So, growth in HR comes from that level of expertise you build, but also be able to then apply it across organizations, people. So, for me, don't my true 2 cents is don't get into salary immediately because if you go to a technology company, the salary will be very different from when you go to a startup, from when you go to retail, from when you go to an analytics firm. So, in my view, start at the salary that the market demands, which could be anywhere between, if you're starting, it may not be over 10 lakhs, as an example. Let's be real. But if you are in that mid career, you can start negotiating your numbers much higher when you can look at 24, 30 lakhs as a mid career start. And then with that, as you grow the ladder, your salary will accordingly jump. That percentage based on how the company is structured.
And what is the highest position a person can go in HR?
Chief Human Resources Officer. So that is your CHRO role, which basically is your exec level role that reports most likely into the CEO and works directly with the CEO and the board or the leadership team at the exec level. So that's the highest you would go to, and that would demand many years of experience behind you and and different exposures across different industries, maybe countries, maybe regions.
Okay. And what are the challenges you face as HR professional?
I think HR is one of those roles that a lot of people don't understand, in my view. It's one of those roles that has changed over the years where it was considered a tactical function. And then that was one challenge. Then it moved to becoming a strategic function. Then it's moved to becoming an AI related function. So I think some of the biggest challenges that I have faced, and I think HR professionals face at work, is balancing people needs with business realities. So either you talk on behalf of the people or you talk on behalf of the business. HR normally carries this invisible emotional labor, as I call it. So whether it's handling conflict, it's uncertainty, it's expectations, managing those expectations from all sides, and it's often done without formal authority. And that is the biggest challenge that HR faces. We know our jobs, we know what we are saying is right, but that balance is a very fine game and it's a very fine line.
And is HR a stable and rewarding career even in this present scenario? Because a lot of things are changing right now. So, what
So
is your opinion?
I think it's a good question, honestly, and a lot of people ask it. I think AI is the reason why a lot of people question, is HR still relevant? And I think there's one message to give to everyone is AI is not going to replace people, it will replace processes today. You still
Right.
need a person to run it. You still need a mind because AI doesn't have a brain. It works on prompts. It works on building frameworks based on what you feed it. So in my view, it is an extremely stable and rewarding career, but it is only a rewarding and stable career for those who evolve. There is always a caveat. If you don't evolve, then it's not going to help. So, if you see, as I said, transactional, tactical HR has changed, right? So, that part of HR is shrinking. What is coming up is strategic thinking. HR has to grow in that space. So, HR continues to remain rewarding when you build skills that allow you to adapt across the changing context. So, 10, 20 years ago, if someone said AI, no one in HR would have done it. Today, when you talk to HR professionals, everyone is doing something in AI, right? So,
Right.
it's about how you evolve, and then it becomes rewarding because the old ways don't work and you have to be innovative today to ensure you are cost efficient, you are process efficient, but you're also delivering what the people need and the business needs.
And according to you, who should join HR?
I
I mean, the
think
characteristics of people who would be very good in HR roles.
so. I think one, the concept that women should only, there are a lot of women in HR, and I think that is something that makes no sense to me. I think we should have one, a balance of what people we have in the function, but I think people who have a need to innovate, people who are agile, people who are not afraid to have a conversation which is difficult, people who know the difference between right and wrong. And I think that is very important in HR because, sometimes you get so pulled by the business that you are like, okay, let me just do what the business says, but that may not be the right thing to do. Be able to say no assertively, come up with solutions. So, those who are actually looking for solutions versus thinking of a problem as a problem, these are the right people who will fit well in the changing times that HR is in. So, someone who is revolutionary, someone who wants to really break boundaries in HR and break the old ways of working will be the most suited person for a role like this, or a role in a function like this because HR is evolving. So if you are going to be someone who's stuck in their ways, you're not going to be right for the role or the different types of roles that are evolving. And also, I stopped calling it HR a long time ago. I started calling it a people function for that reason,
Right.
because we need people who understand people but are also ready to risk, who are ready to make things happen but also challenge the status quo. So that's where I feel that's the kind of qualities you would want to look for when you're looking for an HR professional in the current time and scenario.
Okay. So was the first part where we understood how HR functions and what are the roles if even if you want to switch. So if you have these characteristics, you can join HR. And I'm sure that people would like to connect to you. So I'll put all the details in the description so that people can get in touch with you to understand more. So thanks a
Absolutely.
lot. It was really nice talking to you.
Same here. Thank you so much and hope you have a lovely rest of your day.